Hello again, I'm Tripp Rogers, and this is Tripp's Take. Boy, could Kentucky Derby be any closer? NASCAR said, hold my beer. Sunday night, another photo finish. What a great weekend of sports. And I got to tell you, as a long-suffering New York Knicks and New York Ranger fan, this is such a great time of the year. It is so great to hear the Garden rocking again in the playoffs. The Rangers have won 6 straight playoff games. They are up 2-0 against the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the Knicks are Knicks are playing in the second round against Indiana, and they got a reasonable chance of beating Indiana. Thrilling game Monday night. I mean, again, the excitement, there is no place on earth that I think is more excited and more excitable in my lifetime than Madison Square Garden. And those glory days of the Knicks teams back in the early 1970s and the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup in 1994, yes, 2 highlights of my life. Of course, the funny part of it is that Marv Albert has retired and is not a part of it. His son Kenny, though, is calling the Stanley Cup playoffs for TNT. So again, there is some nice tie-ins there and good things going on. Of course, you know, again, it's playoff basketball, it's playoff hockey time. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. And how about the Kentucky Derby? Boy, what a great race. I mean, that's the kind of thing that horse racing needs. Horse racing has really been down in the dumps. The headlines have not been good. You had the number of horses that had to be euthanized last year. You have the doping scandal that involved Bob Baffert, who was pretty much the face of horse racing and the Triple Crown, as he's won it so many times and done so well with it. But it's always good when you get an unexpected horse, a long shot, to win the race. And the way it happened this past weekend, oh my God, you couldn't ask for anything better. And then Sunday, talk about racing. Ironically, Formula One did better in the ratings than the NASCAR race. But now, in its defense, I wonder how many NASCAR fans decided to turn off the rain delay in Kansas, because they were supposed to run opposite each other, and watch the Formula One race, which was on ABC. And I also think that was part of the equation, too. It was available on ABC and over-the-air network as opposed to being on FS1 or FS2, which is what the NASCAR race was on. So, I mean, it was a great day of racing. And the fact that Red Bull didn't win warmed the cockles of my heart. Lando Norris with the win in the Formula One race. But, you know, anytime Red Bull doesn't win, I'm happy. No complaints from this guy. By the way, speaking of NASCAR real quick, it was confirmed Dale Jr. will join TNT and will join Amazon next year. And he will be one of their commentators. Again, the NASCAR package will be split 4 ways. Fox and NBC will take the bookends, and then in the middle there'll be 10 races that Amazon and TNT will have. And Amazon is going to do, if I'm not mistaken, Amazon will do the practice and qualifying for all the races in the first half of that schedule, and then TNT will do all that in the second half. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Dale Jr. finally announced as one of the voices for TNT. And of course, the big media story that continues to swirl, it looks like TNT may lose the NBA rights, which means no more Inside the NBA. Charles Barkley will become a free agent. You got to believe Barkley will land at either Amazon, or he could land at NBC if NBC gets the basketball contract, which they are rumored to be in the running for. It's between TNT and NBC. NBC, of course, all anybody can talk about NBC. It's not the fact that they're going back to NBC. No. It's the fact Round Ball Rock can be used. The greatest sports theme. John Tesh's Round Ball Rock. I remember that? That was great. I mean, you associate that with the NBA on NBC and the Michael Jordan era. And it just makes it, and it shows up. I mean, I can't believe how many times it's posted on social media. That's the one big thing about this NBC NBA story. Round ball rocket. John Chess has even said, yeah, I'll license it to him again. Oh, yeah, of course you will, John. Come on. How much money are you making on it now? You're not. If they use it every week, you get royalty fees on that one. I laugh, but I kid because I care. One of the things I also wanted to talk about a little real quick is I had a chance this weekend to participate in the Relay for Life, American Cancer Society's big fundraiser, and I was the MC in Savannah. Now, I say I had done this. My sister had been involved with the Relay for Life at Barnegat High School in New Jersey for a number of years. She ran it. She ran teams. My daughter got involved when she was young. She wasn't even in high school. She'd come down and do that with my sister. And I also had a chance to MC a couple of times the opening ceremonies and that kind of thing for the Relay for Life. And then my daughter went to college, and she ended up running Relay for Life at her college in Waynesburg University in Western PA 2 years. So when they reached out to the radio station earlier this year and said, hey, somebody want to MC? I said, I'll do it. So it was my privilege to be the MC this weekend. And, you know, the American Cancer Society does so much. And it's hard, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who is not touched by cancer in some way, shape, or form. And it is a great cause. Now, we have made strides in terms of cancer research. But, again, we have a long way to go. And it just seems like every time you turn around, somebody else you know or someone else you hear is stricken with some form of cancer. The American Cancer Society is working to try and help that. And it was just, and Relay for Life, if you have not had a chance to go attend a Relay for Life, it is a very moving experience, especially when they do the walk at the end. The Luminaria walk is moving. And I found it funny as I was, because they give you, you know, when you MC these events, you know, they give you a script and you read the script. And I found myself reading the script and getting choked up because my mother had cancer. We had 8 years with her after her diagnosis, and it was a tough 8 years. But she made it. My daughter was 8. I mean, she was diagnosed when my daughter was 1. And, I mean, that's why my sister's involved. That's why my daughter was involved. And that's why I get involved for my mom. And I know she's happy. You know, I do that. I got a shock this week. I got a shock this week. You know, you don't normally hear about people in their 30s passing away. And I got on Facebook and I happened to see the note that one of my former colleagues at Best Buy, Shannon Buckley, passed away at the age of 31. Now, Shannon was one of our supervisors, and she was a good person. Her sister Cassidy was a great person too, and I was privileged to work with both of them. And Shannon passed away at the age of 31. She leaves a daughter who is I think 2.5 or 3, and her husband, who I also worked with at Best Buy. So these are two people who I've known, and I'm just, you know, I'm so sad. It's just, and the other part of it is it's given me an opportunity to reach out to friends who I haven't talked to from Best Buy. And so we kind of reacquainted. One of them is going to have a baby, and the other one has been deployed to Syria. So, you know, it was an excuse to get in touch with folks, and we're sitting there chit-chatting back and forth. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a way to keep me in the loop there, buddies. But to the Buckley family in Little Lake Harbor, New Jersey, my thoughts and prayers, and to Steve and his daughter Olivia. You know, the loss of their mom is you know, you can't say it. I mean, there's no words. There is just no words. And that is Tripp's Take for May the 9th, 2020. 24. Love to hear your comments and questions about my podcast. Feel free to email trippstake@gmail.com. Don't forget, fantasy football will be coming, and the NFL schedule announced next week. So that means fantasy football coming into focus. You'll want to check out the Fantasy Sultans with the Hall of Famer Mike Sheck and yours truly, Tripp Rogers. You can find it on Spotify for podcasters, where you find this podcast, and also on YouTube. Just search the Fantasy Sultans. If you like the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, feel free to give a listen to WTRSradio.com. Join me again next week. For now, I'm Tripp Rogers. Thanks for joining me. Make it a great one.